Looking for magic cards? At flipsidegaming.com you can now use the promo code LVD to get a 10% discount on orders over $10 while supporting the channel at the same time. Alright, pack one, pick one. This might just be a boring old Gatebreaker Ram. Nothing else that really comes close. Could take a Zurta Goblin, move into Gruul. Although that's not a great plan necessarily. There's a Grotesque Demise as a good removal spell. There's a Senate Griffin. Nothing that really jumps out here. Demise not necessarily the best pick after Ram. Doesn't really go in the gate deck all that well since you're not often black. Of course, Golgari is not a guild. So if we take Demise, it's just because it's a powerful individual card and we might play it in a different deck than the Ram, but we're unlikely to play both in the same. If we take a Goblin, then we're committing pretty heavily to Gruul, which is maybe not a great idea, but it would maybe go in the same deck as the Ram. I think we just take Demise, stay open. Alright, so here, best cards, Judgment and Admonition. Admonition plays well with Ram. Judgment plays a bit better with Demise. It's the Engineer that's missing. So one of the bots that passing to us took a blue-green card. Probably want to avoid taking the Admonition then, so probably means we want to take the Judgment instead of the Admonition. Yeah, the thing is we keep getting crushed by gate decks, but whenever we try and draft a gate deck it just doesn't come together, or it does come together but then our draws are horrible. So it's still a pretty high variance strategy. Could take a Forbidding Spirit for an Orzhov deck. It's not exciting, but it's playable, nothing else really. If we had taken Admonition, we would be looking at Skitter Eel. Alright, well, now we've got a reason to maybe diverge. Dovin's Acuity is pretty strong. Plays well with Judgment, we can still splash Demise. Skewer the Critics doesn't really play all that well with what we have, other than the Demise. So Acuity it is. And now we could take the Sneak. Fairy Duelist is okay. Otherwise there's a Gateway Plaza to help us fix for maybe a Splash Demise. We've got both Ram and Sneak as gate payoffs, so Plaza goes up in value. And we could take a Wall as a good blocker. Could take a Simic Locket for fixing. There's a Sage's Row Savant. That's kind of a mediocre filler at 2. I think I'll take a Wall. And now we can take a Senate Courier. Take a Gate. Don't think we want Reclamation, I'll take a Locket just in case. Alright, not a great first pack, but could come together nicely if we get enough gates. Alright, second pack, all the Rakdos cards. Is there anything for us here? I guess another Gateway Plaza or an Orzhov Guild Gate. So right now we're looking like a blue-white deck. Splashing black maybe for Demise. And maybe splashing green for Ram. So in that deck we could splash a Final Payment. Seems okay. Or we could take a Gate. Probably want a removal spell. Kind of move into some sort of Esper deck, maybe splashing green, we'll see. In that deck we could play the Insight, we could take the Guild Gate. I think we'll go with Insights. Plays well with our Acuity. Probably taking another Guild Gate over the Senate Courier. Would be our third gate overall. Helps us splash Final Payment and Grotesque Demise. A lot of cards we could like. Guildgate, Ministrant, Junk Troller, Final Payment, Blade Juggler. So not sure yet if we're gonna play this Ram. We're looking like some sort of Esper control deck. So in an Esper control deck, Inheritance is not too exciting. Like, it's okay against opposing control decks and gate decks or whatever if they don't have a lot of pressure, but facing a Gate Colossus Inheritance doesn't do much. I don't think it's Inheritance. Juggler on the splash is not amazing, don't have a ton of creatures to enable Spectacle, so that leaves Final Payment, Gate, Junk Troller, and Ministrant. Azorius Guildgate would be nice, although if we don't splash the green, then the only gate payoff is a sneak. It's not like we need a ton of gates for the sneak, so we might just want to take a good spell over it, which would be either the Ministrant, Final Payment, or Junk Troller. We already have Final Payment, Summary Judgment, and Grotesque Demise as far as removal. Could always use an extra one, but it's not like we're all that desperate. And looking at our curve, a Junk Troller would play defense nicely, prevents decking, but is also a card that often wheels. So I think I'll take a Ministrant. And now we can take another Insight, another Orzhov Guildgate. I think we still like Insight here. And now we could take a Prying Eyes. This would be our second Senate Courier. Already have a few 3-drops here, so it's not like we're lacking. Viscopa Vampire would prefer not to play. I guess there's also the Simic Guildgate for the Gatebreaker Ram. Can keep that dream alive. It's not unreasonable. Prying Eyes is usually a card we can pick up later. Alright, there's a 7th big Gate Colossus for some reason. If this didn't happen, then the Gate deck wouldn't be as oppressive as it is. If Gate Colossus would be gone by the 3rd pick, then everything would be fine. But I'll take it. It's definitely not the first time I've seen this late of a Gate Colossus. So do we want a second Forbidding Spirit or a Slimebind? Slimebind's not too exciting, but it's okay. I'll take a Slimebind. Dead Revels doesn't seem great in our Creature Light deck. And we already have 2 Sphinxes inside that does a similar job. Probably just a Gateway Plaza, so we have more green mana for the Ram as well. Could take another Slimebind, Azorius Locket. And not much here. Alright, Junk Troller Wheeled, that's good. More Guildgates. Prying Eyes Wheeled, that's good. And a Thought Collapse last pick, alright. Those were some good pickups, and we see another Gatebreaker Ram make an appearance. So, looks like the Ram is back on the menu. We've got 3 sources of green already. Can maybe hope to wheel a Simic Guildgate. Second Gate Colossus, sure, why not? Pretty far from Bellhaunt. Night Arbiter would be okay. And probably want a Summary Judgment here as more cheap removal. Probably the Simic Guildgate. We're doing okay on playables, so not too desperate. So taking a gate here still seems fine. Now with 2 Gate Colossus, 2 Ram. Wanna take gates very highly. Still have a sneak as well. And I'll just keep taking Orzhov Guildgates. There's also Clear the Mind, which is a consideration. But with double Ram, double Colossus, we should be able to close out the game before we have to Clear the Mind. Admonition, still good. Alright, this is an interesting pick. Could take another Gateway Plaza, more mana fixing, more gates. Although too many plazas can also be quite clunky. Gruul Guildgate doesn't do much for us. There's a Sky Tether. Although we're not planning on winning with flying creatures, we're trying to win with Rams and Colossus, so... And then there's a Bring to Trial if we want to deal with opposing Gate Colossus. I think I'll go with the Bring to Trial. Don't think this is a high alert deck. When we have 2 Ram, 2 Colossus, it's unlikely to be one. So yeah, no high alert here. Just an easy Azorius Guildgate. And nothing here that we really want. Could take a Twilight Panther, I suppose. Early blocker. Another Orzhov Guildgate. Nothing here. Alright, we'll declare the mines. We've got 2 Semi-Guildgate, 2 Gateway Plaza, and if we play 2 Forests, that's 6 green for the Ram, that should be plenty. How much black do we have? 5 Orzhov plus 2 Gateway Plaza, that should be enough black, so we don't need any swamps. How much blue do we have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should be enough. How much white? 1, 2, 8, 9. Could be okay too. So this mana base could work. Double Panther might be excessive. Wall is just a good early blocker. Don't have a ton of early plays, so it seems good enough. I do want to bring to trial, I think, to deal with opposing Colossus. We're a bit weak to opposing flyers, so we're mainly trying to race or kill them with our removal. We do have a Thought Collapse, which is a little bit difficult to cast in this deck. Double blue is not that easy with 9 blue sources. Alright, so Spirits and Clear the Mind will be cut, and we'll keep this. Seems okay. Yeah, we could play 18 lands. We do have a Prying Eyes. Just play an 18th land since we have a Prying Eyes, and we want to hit our land drops. Our late game's quite powerful. Could see that. And then what do we want? An extra blue source, probably, for the Thought Collapse. Alright, I think this will be our deck. Sure. So we can go Orzhov Guildgate into Simic plus Panther, or Orzhov Guildgate into Gateway Plaza. Gutterbones. I think we just play the Panther and trade. And next turn we have the option of Final Payment plus Semi-Guildgate, otherwise we're playing Plaza. Ooh, Goblin Gathering. Fair enough. Our spot removal doesn't line up all that well against these tokens, but hopefully Gate Colossus sticks around. How does Rakdos kill Colossus? 5 mana, get the point. They can try and Blade Brand with Death Touch and kill it. Make us sack it with the 3 mana spell. I think I'll just Slimebind the Blade Juggler here. Slimebind could be better in the face of Blade Brands, but if we just Slimebind the Juggler, they can block it to begin with. And this just uses their mana efficiently in case they do kill the Colossus. We don't take 3. Alright, let's hope Colossus sticks around. Ouch. That was painful. Yeah, I mean, I guess now that the gate decks are so popular, this card becomes more playable than it used to. Because against, like, let's say an Orzhov deck, that card's just unplayable, but against the gate deck where we just play a handful of high-impact creatures, it's not bad. So we might have to reevaluate this card in best of 1. Well, we can't do much here, sadly. Do we Summary Judgment a token? Seems bad. We couldn't really save a gate, because without a gate in play, our Colossus would cost 5, and we didn't have a 5th land otherwise. Yep. Yeah, Blade Juggler is still a good card. Let's try again. That's a lot of goblins being gathered. Yeah, we don't have a Gates Ablaze. I think this is game. Can hit them for 8, they just hit us for 1 million. This attack is maybe a little questionable, but staying back on defense doesn't really accomplish much. Well, we had a decent draw against the normal Rakdos deck, but against the Undercity's Embrace triple Goblin Gathering deck, this doesn't really line up all that well. So don't think we have any outs. Opponent plays a Blood Crypt, takes 2, falls to 8. Doesn't seem like it. Well, we're back where we started. We can't seem to get out of Diamond 1 here, or Diamond 4 I mean. Brush Strider, sure. Probably want a Sphinx's Insight on 4. I could also just play Ministrant right now, maybe that's fine. Final Payment plays pretty well with our Ministrant here. Can bounce the Airings, seems okay. Just want to buy time until we can slam a Giant Ram or Colossus. Alright, some good mills, opponent splashing blue. So the plan here is to final payments, or we could also take it and then summary judgments. Nah, I think we want a Sphinx's Insight next turn. So I'm leaning towards using the final payments. Alright, now we'll just inside at instant speed so we can keep up Thought Collapse. And we'll keep the spirits back to block, I think. Don't feel too compelled to hit them for 2. Discards Chillbringer that they can't cast. Can punish a pump spell pretty badly here. Our hand is pretty stacked. Just need to find a win condition. Gift of Strength. So Grotesque Demise gets punished by a Storm Strike. Judgment feels a bit safer, but then again Judgment can be more useful later. So I think I will Grotesque Demise here. Hybrids, okay. They don't have double green yet. Alright, get Sneak in play. And then we still have Thought Collapse up. If they do find double green, we can always Slime Bind and then block with a wall. But now we're setting up Prying Eyes, finding a gate for the Sneak, potentially. Beastmaster, I guess that's fine. We can Summary Judgment that if it attacks. Or we could Slime Bind it, which is also pretty interesting. There's Colossus. Let's play Colossus. Gruul doesn't have an easy time dealing with an 8/8. We are shields down on Thought Collapse now. Rubble Bolt Recluse. They're gonna try and set up a big attack next turn. I think I just want to keep up all my instants since the Recluse is forced to attack here. Instead of playing the Ram. The Recluse is gonna suicide into the Colossus. And we can make sure that stays that way. So we get to Slime Bind. And then we'll eat the Recluse. And we want a Judgment hybrid, I guess. It's fine. Could get punished by like an end of turn Scorch Mark on the Colossus, but didn't seem like they had an instant up. We're fine if they chump block the Sneak. Can keep the gate for next turn. They kept the Goblin on top. So still no double green. Alright, we should have this locked up. There's the blue mana. Let's just get this over with. Sure. Turn 1 10 Street Dodger, alright. Alright, get to slam a Gate Colossus into another Gate Colossus, into Sphinx's Insight, pick up Acuity, should be good to go. I guess we don't even need this land, do we? I guess this smells like a Blade Brand. Yeah. You can have it. Yep, there it is. Yeah, Gate Colossus is a silly card. Sure. Bit light on gates, but we can cast all our spells. Any tips for getting enough playables in the gate stacks? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tough to always get there since you need to take so many gates. Just make sure that in the packs where there are good cards and you maybe already have a decent number of gates, just take the actual spell over the gate. Opponent stuck on 2. Could play a Ram. Don't want to get it Essence Capture or Quenched. Let's play a Cutie for now. That resolved pretty smoothly. So I'll probably play the Ram next turn. That's a surprising start. Opponent on Izzet. Bounce a Ram, sure. So we can go Ram plus Wall, and then next turn we can play Gate Colossus. Seems decent. Their own Ram gone. Keeps the land on top. All right. Don't think we need to trade the Ram here. Can just play another Colossus, take our time. Yep, sounds about right. On the draw, can probably keep this. I think I'm happy with our decision to play an extra land. Think we play Wall. Close decision there. Could play the gate so we can play a Ram on 3. We could play a gate and then Summary Judgment hybrid after it attacks. This seems okay. Cinder Vines. Is that good against us? I guess it's not bad, it can kill Gate Colossus. Speak of the devil. Don't love playing the gate while it still dies to a Savage Smash. Could have also played a Cutie first. Yeah, maybe that was bad. Wait to play the Ram until it's at least a 5-5. I'll take it. I'm a coward. Ooh, nice. A Glass of the Guild Pact. I guess I'm okay trading Ram for Hybrid and Guild Mage. Don't know if our opponent is, probably not. Can keep up Thought Collapse, we can keep up Summary Judgments. Which seems decent considering they attacked into our Ram last turn. Slinger. So ideally, we play the Acuity and our opponent blows the Cinder Vines on it before killing the Gate Colossus. Don't want to attack with the Ram anymore. Once it's a 7/7, it's a bit more appealing. Or we could attack a Slimebind, that's another option. Ram can block, so we'll take 2. They could also use the Cinder Vines, of course, to destroy the Slimebind, which is pretty tricky. Alright, so this is a little awkward. If we play the Colossus, they can destroy it with the Cinder Vines. If we just Sphinx this inside, and we're falling behind on board, and the Acrobat does hit pretty hard. So the play might just be to play the Gate Colossus anyway, make him kill it, and then we can try and set up Slimebind, although in the meantime we'll be taking quite a bit of damage. I guess we could inside hope to draw into an island, but it's got to be an island specifically, so we can still play the Slimebind. If we had 2 blue sources, it would be more reasonable. Yeah, I should definitely attack first. Doesn't really matter too much though. Cinder Vines kills Colossus. Guildmage prevents Ram from blocking, and we're taking 7, down to 6. Can gain a bit of life with Insight and maybe just try and race with the Ram. Ministrant's good too. Yeah, I guess we'll just play Ministrant and then we have Slimebind up as well. Hopefully we're not dead. Titanic Brawl the wall. So what's their plan here? Attack with everyone. We could still block the Acrobat so we wouldn't be dead. Could of course Slimebind in response so the wall doesn't die. But maybe we want them to attack, so the Ram has a better attack on the way back. And if they don't, then we can Slimebind on offense. I think we let it happen. Alright, now they're just dead. Even without the Slimebind. Alright. This hand has a severe lack of gates and gate payoffs, but seems keepable. Ministrant a pretty decent blocker here. So we could go Panther, keep up Thought Collapse. We could just bounce the Wrecker. Panther can keep up Death Touch at the moment, but we could just double block the Wrecker. Or we could Summary Judgment the Wrecker. Got some options. Could also just play a Junk Troller and take 3. How likely are we to need to Thought Collapse next turn? Not super likely. If they had an Inheritance, they could have played it. So that would be one reason to maybe want to keep up Thought Collapse. We'll just make the mana efficient play. So if they play an extra creature, we can maybe block it with the Junk Troller and then we can sit behind our counterspell. Alright, Carnage. It's pretty effective. I guess we could ditch Slimebind and Panther. Alright, land means we can Judgment and then keep up Thought Collapse and Admonition as well. And we can even start attacking. Play land first in case they have the untap trick here. But I think I do kill it right away because it's probably going to happen either way. Don't want to run into a potential pump spell. Artist at 14 is, I think, still manageable. Judgments. Colossus can almost cast it. Don't really feel the need to Admonition the Artist. Just gonna keep up Thought Collapse. If we had 6 mana it would be a different story. But we're probably just jamming Colossus then. Is our opponent on Rakdos splashing green for opening gates? Kinda weird. Maybe they're just straight up 3 colors. Transport. Doesn't get past our Junk Trawler, plus we can easily bounce it with Admonition. Does provide a lot of fodder for the Artist to ping us. But for now, I think it's fine. Alright. So we can just slam a Gate Colossus down. We could bounce the Transport and then keep up Thought Collapse again. I think we just jam Colossus, see what happens. Just block with the Junk Trawler. Alright, that was pretty effective. Ram's pretty good too. So we'll start by attacking. Can bounce a Transport, play a Ram, or we can bounce Transport, keep up Thought Collapse. Another Colossus isn't bad. Yeah, I think we'll just counter the Transport if they replay it now. Make them spend their entire turn. Hopefully they replay it instead of something else. Playing Ram would have maybe threatened lethal and gave us a blocker. So it was a close call there. Alright. And I guess we'll play the gate since we have a second Colossus in hand anyway. Do we play the Colossus or the Ram? I guess Colossus makes more sense. They're not going to be able to play 2 creatures that block Colossus. I guess maybe our opponent might have been waiting for the Bladebrand Daggercaster combo, but then decided to just go for the Daggercaster itself. Probably have to block here. Don't want to get in burn range. Gutter Bones, fine. Scavenger. So they've got 1 Chump blocker for Colossus, but not 2. And for 1 red and a green, don't think they can have anything. I guess they could have the untap trick once again. And then they can double Chump. That's fine by me. Secure us to 4, and that's game. Alright, sweet. Yeah, I don't think keeping the gate there was really necessary, considering the game was probably going to end on the next turn. And we had a Ram to play anyway. But yeah, sometimes you do want to make sure you keep a gate in hand to get back Colossus. And seems good. So do we play a turn 3 Ram? Probably. It's out of Grotesque Demise range. Enforcer's definitely a good one against us, but we can always final payment it. I mean, it's good against a Ram, it's not good against Colossus. Alright, there's some blue in there too. Law Mage's Binding. Alright. Well, at least now we've got a good target for the final payments. Or we could just bounce it, maybe that's even better. Yeah, I buy that. Uh-oh. Alright, what just happened? Opponent attacked us and then hit us with a Blade Juggler. That's fine. Alright, so we get to replay a Ram, and then we could have final payments, or we could just play another gate. I think we keep up final payments, so we can end of turn maybe kill the Death Touch Enforcer if they keep it back. And if they have another Law Mage's Binding, then we can sack Ram to kill Juggler. Also want to maybe keep the gate for the sneak. The only drawback is that we don't get the 6th land for Prying Eyes. If our opponent attacks with Blade Juggler and they want to try and go for a Blade Brand, we can punish them too. Pontiff, alright. That's a good one. So the Ram's gonna have a hard time connecting. So our best plan might just be to hope to find a Colossus eventually. Enforcer attacks. No blocks. So what we can try and set up is, if our opponent blocks and taps out to his Pontiff, we can kill it in response. So what happens if we attack with the Ram? Our opponent probably just double blocks Oligarch and Blade Juggler instead of trying to set up anything fancy with the Pontiff. Although if they do try and set up something fancy with Pontiff where they block and sack, then we could final payment in response to kill it. If we play the gate first, then they're forced to make the Pontiff play since they won't be able to double block with Juggler and Oligarch. So that's also reasonable. Then we still need to deal with the Enforcer, but at least we get rid of Pontiff, which is a bigger threat. And we get to add a sneak to the board too. The drawback of playing gate first is that we don't have it for the sneak. Soul Trample for 6. We did have to take 5 damage to cast the final payment, so it wasn't free. Could keep up Thought Collapse. It's not unreasonable to keep up Thought Collapse to protect the Ram, because right now they're only hitting us for 2, and we would be racing, so they probably just hit us for 1, keep back Enforcer, and then next turn we can play Sneak, keep having Thought Collapse back up. Yeah, I guess we'll play it safe. If we had a gate in hand to reward us for playing the Sneak right now, it would maybe be slightly different. But I don't want to risk our opponent killing the Ram and then hitting us for a bunch. Alright, well, let's not let that happen. So we saw that they're splashing blue for binding, maybe something else too. More Oligarchs. So if we can deal with the Enforcer, we would be in decent shape. We could Prying Eyes to refuel, or we could play a Sneak and then next turn play the Gate to get the ball rolling. They might just be playing some off-color gates for Gate Colossus. It's definitely possible, or Archway Angel. I think I will play the Plains, just to have more mana available when we do Prying Eyes, even though sometimes we want to discard lands to the Prying Eyes. We're somewhat likely to find some lands as well, and we might want the extra mana. It's mainly so we can also play the Plaza and still Prying Eyes, since we'll have to pay the 1 mana for Plaza. Interesting attack with Oligarch. They maybe just want to get the Spirit Token. If they had a Blade Brand, they would have maybe attacked more aggressively, so I think they just want to get the Spirit Token here. Do we block with the Ram or the Sneak, just in case they do have a Blade Brand? I guess the Sneak. Although that does run into more pump spells. They could have a Sentinel's Mark. More Oligarchs. Well, that's a lot of Oligarchs. So here it's pretty mana efficient to play the Plaza, and then we can still Prying Eyes. Although we're slowly getting to the point where our opponent could just attack us with everyone, which represents quite a bit of damage. I think it's still the play to Prying Eyes here though. And the fact that we have all this mana tapped might discourage them from making a ballsy move. And then hopefully we find either an answer to the Enforcer or another Colossus or Ram to keep up the pressure. Demise, that's fine. Alright, they are sending in everyone. So we'll just block the Juggler. Take 4. Sadly don't have any Archway Angels to draw towards. But this isn't bad. So 4. Can just unload our hand next turn. Wow, what a top deck. Perfect. So we can attack with the Ram after playing the Guild Gate, I think. 8. They block with Enforcer, we Grotesque Demise. We trample over, play Gate Colossus, and hopefully that's game. We are dead to Ethereal Absolution or Glass of the Guild Pact. Expose Colossus, that's fine. So can they find an answer to the Ram? If they do, then we're dead. Oof, that was a close one. Yeah, this seems like a keep to me. Bit weak to early aggression, but we can cast both Judgment and Demise. 3 gates for Colossus and an Insight to refuel. So, strong hand. Senate Courier is okay. Don't need to kill it right away. Just keep on playing gates. Next turn we can Insight, and then turn 5 play a tapped gate and play a 4 mana Colossus. Ram is good too. Guess we'll play that instead. Six Ram followed by 8/8 Gate Colossus. It's like we're playing constructed here. Alright, binding. It's to be expected. So we can make it a 3 mana Gate Colossus, but we still can't play a removal. So I think it is worth it to get the Gate Colossus out there first. And I will keep a gate in hand just to get Colossus back in case they destroy it somehow. And then next turn we'll probably Demise the Imp at the very least. Demise can be more useful against potential Death Touch creatures, whereas Judgment doesn't work on creatures playing defense all that well. Acuity is also excellent. So we'll start by attacking. Maybe another binding would be unfortunate. Play Acuity. And then Judgment Imp picking up Acuity. Opponent with Deploy and Response, sure. And now do I play the gate? I think so, since that opens up Acuity plus Insight next turn. So Colossus is still a 2-turn clock here, which is relevant. Got quite a bit of life gain in hand, so don't hate our chances. Opponent seems to be stuck on 4, so their hand is all action. Main phase Duelist. Not sure why. Alright, so we'll need to find another win condition here. A gate will also get our Colossus back. Alright, so next turn we can play the gate, put Colossus on top, play Acuity, draw Colossus, play Colossus. Grasping Thrall we probably need to deal with. Ram is great. Alright, so can do a lot of things this turn. How much does the Colossus cost? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates, so it would only cost 2. So Acuity, Colossus, but we don't have the mana to demise. We can Slimebind still. I guess it's okay. I'll just do it now, I think. They can block with the Thrall on the Colossus. So it's kind of like exiling it in a way, since they can't really get it back. Unless they can sacrifice it somehow. Opponent says go. We'll attack. Duelists. Dealing 6 is still fine here. Doesn't really change the clock. Can play Ram. And then just keep up Thought Collapse. Seems decent. And we have Demise up as well. Don't think much can go wrong. We're only taking 5. Can counter any Grasping Thralls, even though they wouldn't be lethal. And that does it, sweet. So we finally managed to get to 7 wins here. And ranked up nicely. All it takes is double Gatebreaker Ram, double Gate Colossus, and some gates. And then sprinkle in some removal. And you've got yourself a 7-win deck at Diamond. Let's crack some packs. Alright, nice. Always nice to open those 40 gem mythics. Alright, but for now, I want to thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day. I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.